Happy day students, welcome to SAN Academy Pallikaranai. This is class 8, History chapter 2 from Trade to Territory. In this chapter, we are going to see how the Britishers, who came initially as trading company, slowly gained control over the power of authority of Indian territories. To begin with, let me explain about Aurangazeb. Aurangazeb was the last Mughal emperor. He was the last of the Mughal rulers. He established control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India. But after his death in 1707, many governors and zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing power. Bahadur Shah Zafar. Let us learn about who is Bahadur Shah and what happened to him. After Aurangazeb, there was no powerful Mughal ruler, but Mughal emperors continued to be symbolically important. In fact, when a massive rebellion against British rule broke out in 1857, Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal emperor at that time, was seen as the natural leader. Once the revolt was put down by the company, Bahadur Shah Zafar was forced to leave the kingdom and his sons were shot in cold blood. Let me explain you about the England ruler Queen Elizabeth. In 1600, the East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, that is Queen Elizabeth, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. The meaning of this is no other trading group in England could compete with East India Company in trading. Now, who is Vasco da Gama? Yes, it was Vasco da Gama, and he was a Portuguese explorer who had discovered the sea route to India in 1498. Let us see the sea route map. The first English ship sailed down the west coast of Africa, round the Cape of Good Hope, and crossed the Indian Ocean. The problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same things. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. Pepper, cloves, cardamom and cinnamon too were in great demand. Now let us see how the East India Company began its trade in Bengal. After Aurangazeb's death, the Bengal Nawabs asserted their power and autonomy. The first English East factory was set near the banks of the river Hooghly in 1651. By 1696, it began building forts. 2 years later, it bribed the Mughal officials into giving the company zamindari right over these 3 villages. One such village was known as Calcutta, and now we call it as Kolkata. As we discussed, after Aurangazeb's death, the Bengal Nawabs asserted their power and autonomy, so Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Alivardi Khan and then by Siraj-ud-Dawla as the Nawab of Bengal. The conflicts led to confrontations and finally culminated in the famous Battle of Plassey. Now let us see about the Battle of Plassey. As we discussed earlier, after Alivardi Khan died in 1756, Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab of Bengal. He marched with 30,000 soldiers to the English factory at Kazim Bazar and disarmed all the Englishmen and blockaded English ships. Finally, in 1757, Robert Clive led the company's army against Siraj-ud-Dawla at Plassey, and this was the first major victory got by the British rulers in Indian province. Now let us see about the Battle of Buxar. Robert Clive made Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. Later on, Mir Jafar was replaced by Mir Qasim because he too was protesting for dignity and sovereignty. But Mir Qasim started complaining and he was defeated in the Battle of Buxar, that is in 1764, and Mir Jafar was reinstalled. Ultimately, the Nawabs were no more ready to be like a puppet in the hands of the British. So, how the officials reacted to this? Now let us see about company officials becoming Naboobs. Robert Clive declared that we must indeed become Nawab ourselves and started collecting large fortune from the local rulers and Nawabs. So, this was the place where slowly the transformation took place from trading to annexing the Indian territories by the British rulers. Thank you, students. This is the end of the part 1 video of the lesson. Have a nice day.